This time, the quick speed shop, I'm doing some body work on the back of the Model A hot rod shop truck. Alright, so I'm smoothing out the rear back panel here. I had Duraglass on here. Now I'm putting some Evercoat Chrome-a-lite, I think it's called. What's it called? Chrome-a-lite body filler on here. I'm second pass in, so I'm working on just getting all the back of this truck dialed in. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the top of the body line here with some seam sealer, dial this in, and get all this prepped and ready for paint so I can paint this lower area before I put the box on when it comes back from the sandblaster. So I'm mid stroke here, but let's go back in time and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, I'm on my detail here. My primer's all dry in the back. Last time I welded up this detail piece and primered it. Now I've got some gray seam sealer here, and I'm just going to fill the gap on top of this strap stock and blend it to the top. I've taped off about an 1/8 inch gap here, so I'm just going to use a little bit of seam sealer, and I'm going to spooge it out and fill in the crack, and I'm just going to mush it with my finger and make a nice bead. So I'll lay some down like that, and I'm just going to work it like this, trying to work it down into the gap a little bit first on my finger, and then I'll go back and pull a nice bead again on top of it. I'm trying to just make a nice little flowed together detail line with the seam sealer. Now I mushed it down in there, so let me just pull it nice like that. Make a nice little rub right across there. I'll take this extra and I'll lay it in here. I'm just going to work it. This stuff will stay pliable for a little while, and then it'll start to set up. But I've got a nice little gap run down there. Smells good. Smells like body shop. I'm just going to work my way right around, doing the same thing all the way around the back of the cab. This gap is a little bit bigger here. I'll get the gun up. I'll force it down in the gap. I'm going to do the same thing, just trying to work it down into the gap of the panel first. And I'm going to pull it on my finger right around. I can see it's got a little bit of a divot down in here. It's not enough, so I'm going to apply a little bit more right about here. Get off the rails there. Now I'm going to draw my big bead again here, make it a little bit taller. Try to get the excess off the tape so it doesn't leave a thick line. I'm just going to keep doing this, keep working it along the seam here until I get, where's my finger? Until I get all the way back across the back of the cab and fill this seam up nice. And I'll let it set up a little bit where it starts to get pretty good tacky. Then I'll pull the tape off so it can lay back down and get rid of some of the edge of the tape line. Before it sets up, I'll do that. I'll pull the tape off along the way. So I'm going to seam her up and we'll go from there. Alright, I let it set up a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and peel the tape off so it can lay down Ooh. Did I wait too long? Oh no. Might have waited a little too long here. Crap! You know what? The little edge. Let me get this off here. The little edge is set up already. I think I can get in there with a little bit of sandpaper and sand it down. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to reapply the tape on the top, and then I'm going to put just a little bit more on top of this line, and I'm going to peel the tape immediately before it sets up, and then it'll allow it to flow back onto itself. because either that or I'm going to have this line here and it'll be super noticeable. Alright, now that the seam sealer is setting up better, I got a lot better line. Like I said, I retaped it and I got a better line. I just got to adjust it a little bit. I'm working on the bodywork here on the back of the cab now. The reason that there's filler here is because originally when I built this, I ran the cab corners out and welded them to some flat stock in here. Then I ran just the back panel of cab, which is 16 gauge steel, stuck out a little ways, and I just overlapped it here, and I had a big trough where this filler was a sucked in point, and it looked like unfinished on the back of the cab. And now I'm trying to make it nicer. I ground all that smooth inside, roughed it all up with 40 grit, and then I used Duraglass filler, and I did the first pass here, and I did most of the rough filling with this fiberglass reinforced Duraglass body filler, and filled it up real close to being smooth. And now I'm just going to use polyester filler and smooth this edge, and then sand it nice so all this is nice and tapered and smooth and finished around here. So you can see the bare metal, and you can see the orange primer or red primer that was on the panel. Then you can see the black, flat black that the truck was originally, and then you can see the green, which I just fogged in here when I repainted the truck. I never took the box off, so you can see the original flat black under here. So you can tell the different layers. So when you're doing body work, you want to feather edge everything back just like the edges of feathers on a bird. The different layers step back, so you want to get a smoother finish. Right now, if you ran your hand over this, you can feel the transition from the green to the black to the red primer is pretty steep. So there's a bunch of little steps going down, and then it goes to the body filler. Then it goes into this low area that isn't sanded because that's still low. So right now you got to divot up onto this flat panel. So what I want to do is work this, apply filler out to about here over this area, smooth this whole thing, build it up above the surface, and then sand it down using my sanding block here, which is a foam Durablock. I'm going to sand in this direction, and this direction, and this way, in all types of different directions out to this hard edge, which is straight, the sheet metal edge here, and just work this across and eventually work all the body filler down smooth, so it's one smooth transition all the way across here, and blend all this in nice, and feather edge the paint on the edge of it back, so there's a smooth transition. So this truck's going to be flat black though, so it's not real critical because you're not really going to see too many paint transitions. Like I've painted over the flat black here, and I've got some weld spots, and you can see it when you're up close. But if this is a nice show car, it'd be spending hours and hours and hours trying to straighten this out. The top of this is all wonky and everything. It's a 22 gauge, and it's all over the place, and I welded it. But this is just a beater hot rod truck that sits outside. So what I'm going to do is just paint the whole thing flat black again. I'm using Rust-Oleum Professional aerosol cans. I just bought about $50 worth of paint, and just once I bodywork this and prime it, I'm going to Scotch-Brite the whole rest of the truck with red Scotch-Brite, and then just reshoot it flat black. But for this truck, there's not enough sheet metal surface area to really worry about, and it's really easy to touch up. I mean, this is down and dirty. Like, go out, drive it, beat on it. If you get a scratch in it, just scuff it and spot it in with some more Rust-Oleum, you're good to go. So I like using the paint. It works good. It's cheap. It's like $6 a can, and the cans are tall. Let me get one right here. Hold on. Right here, the high performance enamel. It uses xylene, I think, as the propellant and the evaporant, or not the propellant, but the evaporant. So it's almost like automotive paint, and flat, and it goes on real nice. So for a beater hot rod like this, or like a Jeep you're going to run to the woods, Rust-Oleum Professional rattle cans are the way to go, in my opinion, because it's cheap, easy to fix, and lasts a long time. Good enough for what I'm doing. When I do body work, I don't like to have the filler be any deeper than like a 1/4 inch thick at the very most, like on real bad repairs where you got to do a lot of filling. So I'll always use Duraglass, this fiberglass reinforced body filler. I always use that for anything that's over an 1/8 inch deep, probably down about a 1/16 inch. The stuff's very strong. It's waterproof. It keeps moisture from getting in behind the repair. So I use this and Duraglass it all. Rough it in real fast with 40 grit and 80 grit and get it dialed in close, and I use like an Evercoat polyester filler to do the final top coat. So I got it all roughed in now, and within less than a 1/16 of an inch of final coat, so I'm going to mix up some polyester filler and cover all this both sides and get it on here, and then start working it down and get the back of this cab buttoned up before the box gets back to put back on here. I use Chrome-a-lite from Evercoat here. So this is basically polyester filler for small imperfections. So like I said before, I put on the first layer here. Now a lot of those will get sanded off. I haven't gone too far out onto the flat panel yet. I'm trying to still fill in the voids here in the deep section. So I'll rough this in. I'll sand this with 80 grit, and then I'll put another coat when I see the highs and lows and all that. Well, just a little bit farther, but I'll do a lot thinner just to straighten out imperfections. Then I'll just dust it with 80 grit, and then I'll switch to like 120 grit and sand it there and start working it in real close. So this is setting up here, and then I'm just going to keep working at it, but it's going to probably be body work all day to get this straightened out. I don't like doing body work. It takes forever, and it's a lot of sanding, but it needs to be done, and I'd much rather be like building frames and just welding crap together. Well, here I got 80 grit on the sand block here, and I'm just going to go start sanding this. It's gumming the paper up something terrible. It's set up for a day now. I think I got enough hardener in it. What's going on here? So I'm just going to sand this and keep varying my strokes here, going all the way up to the edge, my straight edge here, and then the straight panel here, and just keep varying my strokes back and forth. You can see these divots. It's barely sanded down, but still got a little bit of low spot here, here, here. I'm going to keep blocking her down for a while, and then we'll see what it looks like when I get it all sanded out. But get some gumming action on my sandpaper. I've had that problem before with Evercoat body filler. I tend to want to gum up for some reason, and I don't know why. I gotta keep sanding. You can see as I block it in, it's starting to get thin here, so I'm taking some of this off. It's pretty smooth now. I still got some low spots here. I'm going to work it all until it's nice and feathered here all the way around. Just keep working it. You can see it's starting to feather through here. Get a low spot here, edge here, and then the good metal here. So it's getting pretty close. It's feeling pretty good. These divots aren't very thick. It'll with the icing, it'll finish it right out. It's getting right down there, getting pretty smooth. You can see here I'm breaking through the green paint into the black paint. That's feathered over there nice and smooth. A little high spot here with a low spot, but it's coming along. I gotta keep sanding at it. Or I got it all sanded down here. That side came out just a little bit better. I had the Duraglass higher on that side. You can see the yellow filler is just a little bit sanded off. This one I did some more filling with the yellow filler. But I've got a low spot here, and I knocked this down to 80, then I hit this with 120 and smoothed it out. I just want to show you feather edging. So here we got the green paint on top, and then the black paint and the brown primer. And you can see here it goes from bare metal, just a little bit of primer into black, and then the green. That's, if you could imagine like ripples on the side of a mountain, this is going to have just a little bit of edge. You can't really feel it with your finger, but if you could see microscopically, it'd be that way. And then this would indicate a low spot here because I've sanded it, and it took off 2 layers of paint down to the primer. Then it goes to the black paint and the green paint. So there's a little low spot here which you can't detect with your hand. But this would be something, if you're making a nice show car, it would be taken care of, like filler primer and block sanding. You would block it, and you'd see these spots, and you add some more primer, and this little imperfection like this would go away. And this isn't show quality work. This is just going to be flat black, and nobody's going to see it. But I do want to get it so it's smooth in my hand. I mean, this is nice and smooth here. I had a chip in the paint. I feathered out here to get rid of that, but it's nice and smooth. You can feel right here where the shiny spots are. This is where the edge of the panel is welded on, and it kind of lifted the metal up a little bit, so that made a little high spot. But then it goes right smooth into the filler, and you won't see it in the flat black. And the pickup box is right here. But obviously, if this is a show car, you don't want to work the filler out or sand this down, or work this metal down and work this to get it like liquid smooth. But that's not anywhere where this truck's going to be. This is going to be about 85% perfect, and it'll be way more than good enough for the back of the cab on the Model A hot rod shop truck. Okay, I'm in my final stretch here, the bodywork on the back of the cab, and I want to use this icing. I like this body filler. It's for taking sanding scratches out. It's real smooth and fine to sand out, and it's made by USC. And we're gonna mix it up right now and put it on the back of the cab. So I got a hard plastic surface here. I got an old Ford truck mud flap. That's my mixing surface, but it's clean and it works good. So I'm just gonna need just a little bit of this. So I'm gonna open her up just like that. It's just like toothpaste. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit out. Boom. Maybe just a touch more. I'm not gonna need much because we're not doing any filling. We're just gonna be doing the sanding scratches and using it to feather. You know, just a touch more. Yeah, there. Bam. I got some blue hardener. Go ahead and stick this in here. It's a little, about that much. It's about 50 degrees in here. That should be plenty. Take my putty knife. I'm just going to mix it up. Fold it over and over and over on itself. Like this. Until I get a uniform consistency where I don't see any more white. And I see just the light blue color here. Get it off the, take my squeegee and get it off here. Mix any loose pieces in there. Actually, I didn't go as far as I thought it was going to go, but I don't think we need any more than that. So now we got it here on the board. Let's go where the truck will apply it before it sets up. So I'm just using this to fill in the sanding scratches like I said. I want to put it on real nice. I'm just going to start at the top and just kind of work it on here, real smooth layer. I want to go right down over all my body work out here onto the past where I've been doing the fill work. But I want it pretty smooth because I'm going to sand most of this off. This is just for the sanding scratches and to do any little feather edging here, and fill in a couple of pits. I'm not going down here. This is good enough. This is sanded out smooth down here, and it's going to be hidden by the transition from the running board to the fender and all that, so I don't need to worry about it down there. Nobody's going to see any sanding scratches down there. And I've got it sanded out pretty good. Oh, you can see I got a piece of dirt in here. I want to get rid of that because that would be a flaw in the surface when I was sanding it. Whoa! Fall down. There, here we go. Get on there. Now put nice even pressure on here. Get all the air bubbles out. This is the final coat. Don't want any air in it. That'll show up when I'm sanding through. Just got to get on here quick before it gets... Alright. Just kind of work it down here. Nice thin, nice even coat. This stuff spreads real nice. It's like just like icing on a cake. That's why they call it icing, I think. But it goes on real smooth and fine. Make sure I get all my air pockets out of it. Nice. So I'll just let this set up, and then I'll sand it smooth. Work my sanding scratches out. I've already scuffed the whole back of the cab up here pretty good, and I got it where I want it. So I'm just going to work this in, and we'll be ready for prime, and then eventually paint the back of the cab flat black. Alright, I got the first coat of primer on here. It's looking pretty good. The bodywork looks pretty alright. It's definitely not perfect. I can still see there was a couple of high spots in the metal, which right now where the primer is shiny. I can see it. So if this is going to be a shiny paint job truck, I would definitely need to do some more work here. I need to blend this in a little bit further. But it's real close, and for what it's going to be, like I've said before, this is just going to be flat black. The pickup box is going to be right here, right tight. You're not even going to see the whole back of the cab like you are now. It's way better than it was when I built the truck originally, and it's just a down and dirty beater. It's close enough for what I want. I could spend another 200 hours of body work making this truck perfect and putting a show quality paint job on it, but that's not what I want. I just want a flat black. You know, get in it, drive it, wash it once a year, let it sit outside, you know, go down dirt roads, beater hot rod trucks. So bam, there we go. Like I said, I'll let the thing flash off. I'll throw another coat or two of primer on it and then scuff it up and throw the flat black on it. So it'll be ready when the box comes back from the sandblaster. So I guess that's it. Put myself in harm's way. My respirator is down, the fumes are out. I gotta get rolling. So here we go. Let's send her on the outro. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Hey, tell a friend. Let's try to grow the channel for 2020. And hope to see y'all back here at the Quick Speed Shop for more Model A hot rod shop truck action.